Greetings and salutations, Internet citizens. It is I, Wolfphototech, and here we are with another delightful video. This time it is Mutants and Masterminds, the 3rd edition, from Green Ronin Publishing. This happens to be the Basic Heroes Handbook. Now, important point, there is a regular handbook, and then there's a deluxe version of the regular handbook with some extra stuff. It is important to note that the existence of the Basic Heroes Handbook is intended as a easy on-ramp for new players to Mutants and Masterminds, as Mutants and Masterminds is based conceptually and the basic structure on Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, yet radically reworked to such a degree that one has to wonder why there's even a need to have an OGL in Mutants and Masterminds, because fundamentally Mutants and Masterminds is so heavily deviated so far off of anything Dungeons and Dragons that the weird thing of having an OGL in it is completely baffling and actually potentially completely counterproductive to Green Ronin's business and what they think they need to do with this, because there's literally absolutely no freaking reason why there should be an OGL in this product unless they wanted to make their own OGL, which they could just simply scrape off the Wizards of the Coast thing, take the basic structure, and call it their own OGL. Green Ronin OGL, then that would work, and then they can use their own system as a basis, because there's so little in common between Mutants and Masterminds and Dungeons and Dragons that it is absolutely mind-blowing, and you would have to squint really freaking hard to figure out what is the common structures between the two systems. And to be quite frank, there is really no actual common structures between the two systems. This is actually a really nice thing that they do. They have include some comic sections in the book. But generally, Mutants and Masterminds is a classless system that there is typical theme archetypes, but you do not have to actually use the theme archetypes. You can build a character completely from scratch at various power levels. And it has an entirely different system that if you squint very carefully, you can vaguely logic it to be a feat system, yet it does not use any of the terms that the feat system in Dungeons & Dragons uses. So there's literally no freaking reason why there should be an OGL in these books. It generally just uses really some terms like checks. Oh my goodness. By the way, Wizards of the Coast has 0 chance of being able to win a lawsuit over checks. If for whatever reason Wizards of the Coast, let's just say that Green Ronin never put the OGL in Mutants and Masterminds, and for whatever strange, insane reason, Wizards of the Coast decide to sue Green Ronin over Mutants and Masterminds, claiming that it's based on Dungeons & Dragons, Wizards of the Coast is going to lose. And it's going to lose horribly. It's going to waste a lot of money, though, doing it. So here is a nice little example of play. Here's a ranking system to mass, time, distance, and volume. There are various rankings in the system, where if you're like a rank 1 character, this is what kind of range of characteristics you would have, or something. Now, this as being the Basic Heroes Handbook, they actually did create a class system, or a class boxing system, that a player can simply take, like choose to be a crime fighter, and they use the crime fighter template or archetype template to construct a character using the suggestions in the system to lead them along the path of how to build a crime fighter archetype character. However, Mutants and Masterminds in the deluxe book and the regular book is fundamentally a point and structure buy, or a plug and play system where you decide whatever one your game master decides the power level, and you get a total number of points, and you decide to slot those points in at various points. You decide to slot in all the points, and then you fill in your your skill trees and ability trees out from those points by spending points. That is not a Dungeons and Dragons thing. There is no rolling dice to determine your power level for your character. It's entirely just based on points. So, there you go. But here they give you a basic structure of how to quickly work out how to build a crime fighter type character, how to build a energy controller. It's literally just like 2 pages each. You have energy controller, you have gadgeteer, you have mystic, you have paragon, which is basically a Superman type character, powerhouse, which is basically like a Hulk or a really strong person. You have a primal here. You have a speedster. And then here it extends on like complications and so forth. And this book, the purpose of this book is, as I said before, is to be a onboard point for people who have no experience with Mutants and Masterminds, and they really want to play it, but they don't quite understand how the stuff goes together. So they get this book, and they use the basic templates in the front, and then they follow it through using those basic templates, modifying them to fit their theme or style of character they want. And they have nice little comics here and there illustrating some of the new characters. And it helps you build out a character based on those basic templates. And then once you're done with that, you can go on to going over to the Deluxe Heroes Handbook, in which case you can literally dismantle everything and build a combination character that has a blend of crime fighter and energy manipulation, or a techie that happens to have a bit of magical power like Doctor Doom, or a magical character that has technology skills, and so forth. So what this book does is it is fundamentally a teaching aid that also has pre-built characters in it that you can tweak and modify to meet what you want. So you can easily learn how to play the system. And this is a very good book for learning how to play the system. Because it basically takes all the big components and the large collections of stuff, and then it easily pre-packages them into groups that you can just take, and then you can swap out a few things here and there and make your own character. And it explains all your effects and all your ability powers and so forth, movement, protection, and so forth, regeneration, speed, teleport, aura, blast, burst, and so forth. Has nice little comics in here with various characters with various different powers and abilities to illustrate some stuff. It teaches you how to play the game, and more. And I really do like the color coding in this book. There is another book that I showed off recently that was the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game system. And it does the exact same thing. It has different colored sections. So once you page through this book a few times, and you you can flip to a section. You have a different color. The Heist, Chapter 6, Adventures to the Astonish. So this is a section that has some pre-made adventures in it. And then you have this different section, a different color. Or you just like rapidly flip pages that you realize you're in an entirely different section right off the bat. And you look over here in the corner, it says Chapter 7, Rogues Gallery, which is a collection of bad guys or other characters in the Mutants and Masterminds universe that your characters could go up against in combat or befriend and be allies with, and so forth. So I really do absolutely love the whole color coding concept. And in fact, when I get around to doing more work on special projects, I will definitely utilize the color coding concept to easily illustrate that you are in a different section, and I will clearly have it denoted somewhere on the page in a nice corner on down a sidebar. That section, what's the subsections in that section, and what pages it starts to. So there's some really fundamentally good ideas for game design in this book that I can definitely say that they really thought it through very well. And Mutants and Masterminds is a fairly crunchy system. However, I've been told by numerous people who do play Mutants and Masterminds that once you get playing it for a while, everything just clicks together. You begin to really understand mechanics. You can get really crazy with your builds, and you can do all kinds of fun stuff with your character, and it would just feel natural to you quite easily. So there you go. And that is a nice little homage to Action Comics. I think the first issue that Superman showed up in, right there. So it's always nice. So to have stuff like that. So thank you very much. Oh, I should actually put a score. This is a preliminary score for this book. I would definitely place this around like 4 stars. It is exceedingly well written as a book. It's exceedingly well organized. It covers all your basics that you need as a player or even as a game master for running and playing Mutants and Masterminds. It is an abbreviated, simplified down book. It's also quite cheap too. Oh, incidentally, in the very back, there's also the index, and it's only about say 133 pages long. And you only need one side of a character sheet for your characters. And then there's this mysterious thing like the OGL version 1.0A, where one has to ask the question, why in the heck does Green Ronin even have it in the book? There should be no reason for it. This book, MSRP is for $30. So, if you want to get into Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition, this is your starting point right here. This is the book. I highly recommend this book. It covers all the stuff you need as a game master, and it covers all the basic stuff you need as a player in a very digestible size. And then once you're done playing through this book and you got the basics down, you can move up to the Game Master's Guide for Mutants and Masterminds, as well as the deluxe the deluxe Hero's Handbook or the regular Hero's Handbook. There's not too much difference between the two, but you can go there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful weekend, a magnificent month, and see you next time. Ciao.